Today we are going to check compression again on cylinder 1 and cylinder 2. And I also put the oil, the Marvel mystery oil down this valve area straight down because there was a lot of rust there. So we're going to check that out. I've let this tank sit like this. So we've got the Evapo-Rust in here. We're going to probably siphon that out. Be easier than dumping it out because it's hard to get all the liquid out of the areas where the openings are. So I have this little siphoning pump. So we're going to do that. So next thing is check compression. So we're on cylinder number 2. I've put I took out all the mystery oil, let the cylinders run without the spark plugs in to push it out. Let's see what we get. Looking good. That one was on 50 before, and we're at 160. So very good. Let's check cylinder number 1. So cylinder number 1 was about 100 before. Let's see what we get now. Pretty amazing. It's probably still got some of that oil in there. So excellent. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a little more oil out. We'll check it again. All right, I'm going to check all 4 cylinders again. This is cylinder number 2. Let's check it one more time. Oops. Didn't get it connected right. All right, let's try that again. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I let that oil sit in here for about a week. So that is incredible. Cylinder number 1 again. Amazing. And let me check the other 2. I didn't put any oil in those because they were already reading over 150, but let's check them again just to see. Okay, I'm going to give cylinder 3 and 4 a little bit of this oil. Let it permeate down in the cylinder just a little bit. That's cylinder 3 and cylinder 4. Just to give it, I should have probably let it soak too, but this little bit should be enough. Okay, so a few hours later, about 5 or 6 hours, we're going to test for compression again on all 4 cylinders. I realized after thinking about it, I forgot to do throttle open for cylinder 1 and 2. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to, we got some issues with fuel lines that are a little stiff from sitting around. And I've got some Wintergreen oil coming in, or chemical extract. That and rubbing alcohol is supposed to soften these rubber up. Now, whether it'll work for fuel lines, I'm not sure, but we're going to try it. Also, if you look at my bench today, I went and got a new fuel filter, and this is another prefabbed hose that is stiff, that goes from the fuel petcock to, which is right here, to the gas tank. So we're going to try to do some softening, but I also bought some rubber hose at the Honda store where I live. So we got that issue, and we also are going to need to check the valves. So I really want to start this motorcycle because I want to hear it run, but I really think I should check the valves first. So we're going to check compression in a few minutes. Make sure that's good like it was earlier today. It shouldn't be as high as it was because I forgot to do the throttle open. So we're going to do that, and then next we're going to check the valves. I've got the wintergreen stuffs coming in a couple days, so we'll wait on the fuel lines. And I'm not positive if the fuel pump, which is way down here, if you can see the fuel pump, yep, right in there. Now I don't know for sure if that's working yet, but we'll see. We also need to take the Evapo-Rust out of the gas tank. I've been letting it sit in different positions because I don't have 4 gallons, I have 3.5. So just make sure it is reaching the top of the tank. So I think that will be ready to be removed and put back in the tub. So we're going to do that and see what other kind of trouble we can get into. So let's check compression one more time. All right, one more time. Cylinder 2, compression. Throttle open. So still over 200. Excellent. Let's try cylinder 1. Cylinder 1, throttle open. Good. Now I'm sure that the reason we're getting over 200, I think 180 to 200 is the specs, is I'm sure there's still residue of the oil, Marvel mystery oil in there, even though I've run the starter without any spark plugs in to try to empty it out. But let's try cylinder number 3. Cylinder 3, throttle, or no, cylinder 3, throttle open. So again, I mean, it's getting up there on the compression. So I'm sure some of the mineral or Marvel oil still in the cylinders. So causing a little bit of high compression, but still looking a lot better than it was. So we've done cylinder 1, we've done cylinder 2. Now we're going to do cylinder 4. Throttle open. Very good. Not quite as high as the other ones, but excellent. Definitely within the range. So where are we now? We've checked compression. We've got spark. Now we need gas. We need fuel. These fuel lines are stiff. We're going to try a solution of wintergreen and alcohol, rubbing alcohol. And we're going to try to loosen these up where they're not quite as stiff. This won't even hardly bend. We need to try to see if the fuel pump is running when we get everything going, seeing if we get fuel to come out of this line, which goes to the carburetor. We got to hook back the petcock back up with the new filter I bought. And we need to check the valves. So the valves are next because I don't want to start this bike without checking the valves. So we're going to check these. I've got the radiator off. And now I got to take this stuff off to get this back one on. I've got some new filler gauges. And you really need two to do this job, so I went ahead and bought two. My set, if I had any, are long gone. And we need to empty this gas tank from the Evapo-Rust. Yeah, I put it in different positions just to make sure the top's getting good enough saturation. I think we're good there. I'm going to empty that out. I've got a little evacuation pump thing here, so I don't have to suck on nasty liquid. And we're going to see what kind of trouble we can get into next. I'm liking where things are going. Compression is looking good. Spark is looking good. Fuel is next again. Fuel pump may be an issue. I don't know exactly. This one is definitely not. You don't get any clicking noises. Let's see if I can hear anything when the starter is going. But nothing. So we're going to call it a night. And we need to get fuel in and see if it's going to come out to the carburetors. We need to check the valves. So that's where we're at, and I'm happy where we are at, and I'm looking forward to getting to the next step. And I'm ready to fire this thing off, really, but got to take our time, look at it piece by piece. I am going to try to fire it off without the radiator on, but we won't run it very long, very short. Just because if I have to take the carburetors off again for any reason, I don't have to deal with putting the radiator on, or we may run a hose from here to here just to have some flow. So we'll see. Looking good though, looking good. Okay, so the next step in this process is we need to adjust the valves. So I already removed the coils and then this little plastic cover and I got exposure here, and I need to loosen the bolts and try to get this out of here without messing up the um, gaskets. And I've cleaned off this cylinder head, the valve cover. So we're going to do that next and see what happens. So on this rear one, we took the bolts out on top, but this one is split in two because of the clearance. The clearance on this, so the top one has to come off. So it's a little stuck. Let's see if I can get it unstuck. Stuck. We're going to try the hammer again. I've been hammering it. With the rubber mallet. Don't want to tear up the gasket. Hmm. Well, let's try screwdriver without messing. There is a little lip there. There we go. Good. So now this top little piece ought to come out, which it does. This gasket has a front and back, but we're not going to touch it. So gasket's on there pretty good, and we're going to leave that alone. Now this middle piece should come out, which it does. So that's the top one. Now let's do the front one. Mm. So now we got the cover off of these valves, and we've got to remove the cover here so that we can rotate the engine and put it on top dead center. Okay, so we're back at it now. I've adjusted the valves, but we need to go over it one more time. So I didn't get a recording of every adjustment I made, but let's start and see if I can't record checking them the second time. So we're going to rotate the crank and get cylinder 1 on top dead center. Let me get all my tools. All right, I'm just going to stick my finger in here. Just that should be it. Double check. Yep. A little bit more on the mark. That should be very good. So we got 5 thousandths, 2 5 thousandths. We're going to check each one. That's snug. That's pretty, might be a little too much. That one's loose. So this was the first one I tried to do, so probably going to have to adjust this one again. That one's definitely too tight. That's good. But I think we need to loosen this one. I think that one is definitely too tight. So let's make an adjustment. If I can get enough light here. You want it just to grab a little bit, but not so hard you can't get the feeler gauge inside the gap. That's better. All right. And it's also hard to kind of get these two to feel the same exact way. You kind of just try to do the best you can. So that's the exhaust. And it would help if I put the camera up on the right spot. A little loose. Now it's too tight. That one's not bad. Just a tad bit. All right, that feels pretty good. A little snug. Little snug. That one's a tad stiffer, but we're just going to call it good. This one still could be a little snugger. I don't know, valves are tedious, and just when you got so many, it's hard to really get them all exactly the same. So just kind of got to keep feeling it. All right, that's all right. We're going to call that good for cylinder 1, and we'll check it back again. Check cylinder 2, which should be coming up. Line up the mark. Let's move over here. the way. All right, let's see if we can't make that work. Pretty snug. Let's check the exhaust valves. I mean, seems like they could be a little bit tighter. Let me try to tighten these up a hair more. Not only do you have to do one, but you got to kind of do two at the same time. Slight tug. Let's see if we can't tighten them up. Keep them where they're supposed to be. Still got a slight pull on it. And when you get them tight, it seems like it's loose. Try again. Too tight. I don't know, this very tedious. I guess since I got this thing opened up, I just wanted to try to get it as good as I could, so I don't have to do anything like this again. Oh, I want a little bit more snugness. All right, well, that seems a little better. It's also at a pretty weird angle, so all right, I like that. I like that. Like those. Let me tighten these nuts a little bit more. They are needing it. Just so when I go to torque them down, they don't move on me. Now, I think the next one is cylinder number 3. Let's take all of our stuff and move to the other side. We're going to turn this, and I think it's just one little turn right there. Here, the compression. Line it up on the mark. All right, pretty good. Let's go to the other side, see what it looks like. I'm hoping no adjustments needed. And we'll go one more time around. All right. Good. Good. All right. I like that. That's good. Cylinder number 3 looks good. Hey, now let's come back around here. Turn the wheel, and it should be this one. Just to make sure, let's see if I can't. Yep, that's it. Line the markup. Right on the T. All right, that should be lined up. I'll just leave that on. Take our stuff, come over here. Grab a seat. And get the camera where you can see halfway. We'll just leave it right there. Hopefully these don't need adjustment, and then we'll go back around one more time and then torque them down, put the covers back on. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Kind of just want them snug and where these feeler gauges don't try to run around on me. You don't want them so tight you can't even get it in the gap, but you don't want it so loose they just flop all over the place. I'm liking that. That one's a little snug, but I'm just going to leave it. It still gets in there. All right, cylinder 4 is good. So we're going to do this one more time. Sanity check. Come back around. I think cylinder 1 is next. Yep. Line it up on the mark. Right there. Where the case comes together. Right in there. Oh, leave that on. Come up here. Let's hope this one checks good, because I've done this one a couple of times. Yeah, it's still, that one's still a little snugger than I want. Let's go up to intake. Not bad. That's not bad. adjust this one. It's also hard to get a screwdriver in this angle. All right, that's better. Snug this up. Good. Let's go on to cylinder number 2 again. There it is. Coming. Line the mark. Looks good. We're just gonna check them without moving everything around. Get out of the light. A little bit of flashlight. Tighten that one a little bit more. Just so slightly. At least it don't fall out when you put it back in. Okay. All right. Let's put this, make sure all these are snug so it don't get away on me. Go back here. Go to cylinder number 3. Should be the next little mark. Yep. We'll go around one more time. There we go. Grab the cages. Back over here. Good. Good. Not good. No.